Warning: the following video contains explicit language which may be offensive to some viewers or inappropriate for children. The content within this video is intended for mature audiences only.
Battled Congressman George Santos this morning, now facing 13 federal charges. The House will now not vote on whether to kick him out of Congress. Instead, Republicans punted the issue back to the House Ethics Committee, a move that basically allows them to avoid weighing in directly, at least now. On the Capitol steps last night, Santos vowed he is not going anywhere, and while he spoke, members from the opposing parties began to heckle Santos and each other.
Investigation, yes, sir.
Did you talk to Speaker McCarthy ahead of the vote?
No, I did not. I allowed the process to play itself out.
Will the ethics committee clear your name?
Party has to kick him out. He's embarrassing y'all. He's embarrassing y'all.
Biden is
impeachment for what? You gotta get him out. Expel him. You gotta expel. Save the party. The party's hanging by a thread.
We gotta get rid of Biden.
The party is hanging. The party's hanging by a thread.
A well-oiled machine. CNN's Melanie Zona live on Capitol Hill. All right, so that was quite a scene, Melanie, but what happens now?
Okay, so what happened yesterday was House Republicans essentially bought themselves a little bit more time when it comes to dealing with George Santos. Democrats had wanted to force a floor vote on a resolution that would have expelled him, but Kevin McCarthy came up with essentially an off-ramp in order to shield his members from having to go on the record and take what would be a very potentially tough vote for some of them. So instead of voting on the resolution itself, the House voted yesterday to refer the resolution to the House Ethics Committee. They voted along party lines to do that. So it now heads to the House Ethics Committee. Essentially, this was a delay tactic. But look, the House Ethics Committee has already been investigating George Santos since March. This committee, it is bipartisan, made up of equally Republicans and Democrats, but it is not known to move very quickly. And in fact, John, typically when a member is indicted, the DOJ will ask the House Ethics Committee to take a step back, to not interfere with their work. However, in this case, sources told me and my colleagues Manu Raju and Lauren Fox that the House Ethics Committee is planning to move ahead, but that doesn't mean necessarily that they are going to move quickly. So it could be weeks, if not months, before we see them make a recommendation on whether or not to expel George Santos. And even then, the full House would still have to vote on expulsion, which requires a 2/3 majority. So all that to say, it could be a while before we see any punitive action against George Santos. But in the meantime, Democrats are making clear that they are not going to let Republicans live that vote down, and they are going to remind voters that George Santos is still, as of right now, a current member.
Come on now, save the party, save America, save the children, do something about guns. Come on, invest in education. The border is what Trump left it. What are we talking about?
Where are the migrant
What
children?
kids?
You guys
We're accepting them. We love them. We love the migrant children. Why we lost them?
You can't find them.
What are you talking about? What are you talking about?
Yeah, migrant children missing.
No, we don't know the news. I don't know. That's Fox News. That's Fox News. Listen, I need you to save the party. Save the party.
Are you ready? Hello, everybody. What a nice day today. Not a cloud in the sky, blue, and there's hardly much wind. But you know what? It got below freezing last night here, and they issued out a warning, which you know, I get that all the time on my phone and stuff, and so it did get cold, I'll tell you. I had to turn the heat back on, and there was ice, a sheet of ice on the ground because it did rain a little bit, and then it froze. So for those people that had to get up early in the morning to go to work, it must have been, quite a shock, because everybody's been walking around in shorts and short sleeves, and now we're getting a reminder that winter still has muscle to come back in here and start all over again, if we don't behave. So, so we got a nasty reminder of cold weather here. Just crazy. And so, today, I guess, Marjorie Taylor Greene, as you saw there in the video, she was out there stirring the shit again, like she always does. And, I don't know about this woman. I'll tell you, how she was ever able to make or convince people to vote for her is a mystery. The people that she represents, they must be like the dumbest Americans on this planet. I mean, they really have to be. I feel bad in a way, because people like that are always taken advantage of. Okay, you hear about it all the time. You get phone calls from solicitors, scammers. People come knocking at your door offering something. Those are the folks that usually are the ones that they feed off of and make a lot of money from, because they don't think, they just do, and they don't act with any thought. They just act on emotion. Okay, and one of the things that, and I hate to bring this fucker's name up, but one of the things that Rush Limbaugh used to say a lot on his radio show, and I did listen to it, because how am I supposed to know what not to like about the other side if I don't hear what they have to say, right? One of the things that he would always say on his radio show is that Democrats always run to the polls and vote on emotion, okay? And as we know, whenever a Republican accuses the left of something, they're basically just pointing the finger at themselves. They're accusing them of doing the same damn thing, okay? And I'll tell you, the emotion is basically all that runs the Republican Party today. And the proof is, look who they've been voting for, okay? You can't say that logic or intelligence put Lauren Boebert and Green and Santos and Trump into the office, right? I mean, if they had any brains at all, they would have went running as fast as they could away from these folks. But it was all based on emotion, and emotion is what the right wing gives to the voters. Okay, they get them angry, because they know that the angrier people get, the more likely they are to get active and vote. And you want them voting for you and not the other person. So emotion is basically how they operate, and they love to play the victim. And so I'm gonna play this other video here that shows how Marjorie Taylor Greene took the incident that you saw at the beginning here, the first video, and twisted it around into much more than it really was in order to play the victim. Okay, so she can, convince people that she was in the right and the other guy was just too bullyish. Okay, here goes.
You were clashing with Congressman Bowman last night. Why was there such frustration, and why did you feel the need to defend Congressman Santos when they were telling him to resign?
Well, first off, I never defended George Santos. I was not defending George Santos. What I was saying to the press there is you should be at the White House asking these same questions. I never defended George Santos. No one should report that. That would be a lie. What concerns me about Jamal Bowman is he has a history of aggression, not just towards others, but towards me in particular, and I'm very concerned about it. When I went to New York City to use my First Amendment right and protest the unconstitutional and unlawful arrest of President Trump, who another person abusing their power, weaponization of government, DA Alvin Bragg, Jamal Bowman led a mob down there in front of that courthouse and my life was in danger. I had to have so much security. There was not enough. I was swarmed. It's all on video. Everyone can see this. But I will tell you what's on video is Jamal Bowman shouting at the top of his lungs, cursing, calling me a horrible, calling me a white supremacist, which I take great offense to. That is like calling a person of color the N-word, which should never happen. Calling me a white supremacist is equal to that, and that is wrong. Jamal Bowman was down there cursing at me, telling me to get the F out of there, and he was leading the mob right outside the vehicle I was sitting in. We have this all on video. And then on the Capitol steps yesterday, he was the one that approached me. Even CNN reported that. Yelling, shouting, raising his voice. He has aggressive, his physical mannerisms are aggressive. And he just recently shoved Thomas Massey just outside the House chamber. I think there's a lot of concern about Jamal Bowman. So, and I am concerned about it. I feel threatened by him. Mob there. But his boisterous lies, and I'll tell you another thing he said outside there. He was saying, save your party. I kept telling him, no, save the country. It's not about political parties. We shouldn't care about political parties. We should care about the country, because no matter what our political beliefs are, Jamal Bowman, I don't know what his political beliefs are. I know what mine are, but we both swore an oath to serve the country here in Congress as representatives. So I am very concerned about Jamal Bowman, and he's someone that people should watch. His name.
Okay, so as you can see, you know, the half of the stuff she said that took place with Bowman did not happen. Okay, he wasn't trying to bully her. I mean, did he look like he was going to come after her and beat her? I mean, I would have, but you know, he didn't do anything. He just yelling at her, and she felt threatened by him. And I'm thinking, well, is it because he was loud or taller than her, or was it because he was black? You know, could that be the reason why she felt, you know, scared and threatened around him and tried to conflate him at like, oh, he was going to hit me, you know, and making all these things? Doesn't that sound like the kind of crap that you'd hear some racist say about a black person? You know, because a person, if he'd have been white, I doubt she would have, you know, ratcheted up the lie so high. Okay, I doubt it would have happened. But you know, you remember who voted for her now? These white supremacists and stuff. So obviously she wants them to side with her. So she says something that they would probably say in her position. Okay, and they're gonna say yeah. They'll look at that video all differently now because of what she said, and they'll say, yeah, he was trying to intimidate her. He was trying to bully her. Okay, that's what they'll say. I mean, that, and it's easy because all she's got to do is make the accusation and they run with it. Okay, they don't check to see whether or look at it objectively, you know, the video, and say whether or not she was true. They don't look at that. Okay, they just take it, and then she interprets it for them, and then all of a sudden that's the truth. That becomes the truth. All right, but he wasn't trying to do anything like that. Okay, he wasn't trying to intimidate her. He was, and she's sitting there screaming back at him, you know, save America. Say, that's what she's saying. What she's saying. Now, listen, when she says "save America," this is how you compare what she said. Imagine being on the Titanic and the ship is sinking, and you're out there screaming, "We need a new captain! We need a new captain!" Okay, no, we don't. What we need to do is first things first, and that's take care of what's around us right now, okay? The captain can wait till later, all right? But no, in her mind, it's like, no, we got to replace the president, okay? There's gun violence, there's racism, there's bigotry, misogyny. You know, you got Florida now that passed a friggin' law thanks to DeSantis. Now they can go into people's homes and take the kids that if they're trans, and put them someplace. These things like that. Okay, it's like your vehicle is breaking down, and you say get a new driver. It's like, well, what the hell does the driver got to do with everything mechanically breaking down? You know, and so she's out there screaming on the other end of the spectrum while Bowman's talking about the things that that Biden can fix if you support him. Okay, if you give him the means to fix the things you're out there screaming about, he will do it. But if he ain't going to be able to do much of anything if you're standing roadblock all the time in front of him and preventing him from accomplishing stuff. Okay? Like the debt ceiling. You know? Why can't they just raise that? They said that between Bush Jr. and Trump, they created about $10 trillion worth of debt between the two of them with their tax cuts. Okay? And of course, when Trump passed his tax cuts under his administration, they didn't pay for that. Okay, they cut the taxes and it put us an extra trillion, 1.9 trillion in the hole deeper. Okay, and we still have to pay for that. That's what this debt ceiling being raised is what it's for, is to pay for Trump's friggin' bill. Okay, because he cut taxes for the rich. And of course, the Republicans, they don't want to do that. They don't want to have to pay that bill. Okay, that bill lands on us to pay for that. We got to sacrifice. We got to give up our Social Security. We got to give up our Medicare. We got to give up our safety net programs. We got to give up whatever the hell else they want us to give up to give to the government to pay down what the rich got. So basically, the money that's coming from us is going to the rich. Okay, so. You know, this is what people really don't understand, I think, in the right wing about why we're having this fight, okay? And why this isn't about future spending, this is about past spending, okay? The debt ceiling being raised is about the past spending in this country, not the future spending, okay? And we can't go forward until those bills are paid. And if we default on what we've made, how's that going to look internationally? You know, it's definitely going to hurt other countries. You know, but you see, it's always good to put up a smokescreen in front of people to keep them from seeing the truth. And boy, I'll tell you, Marjorie Taylor Greene and Republicans, they are so good at it. I'll tell you right now, they are a practice hand when it comes to that. And unfortunately, a lot of people, or enough people that can cause trouble, believe in what she says most of the time. And most of the time, what she says is just emotion, mudslinging, accusations that have no fact, okay? There's a lot of Republicans just don't like her. So, anyway, we'll go to a commercial break, and we'll be back.
Watch this. This is me.
This is me.
This is me!
This is me.
I'm Alex Curtis. I'm a lobsterman in Maine, and this is me.
I'm Ruth McLaughlin, and this is me.
I'm Eric Hopkins. I'm an artist, and this is me.
This is me.
Me. This is me.
This is me. This is me.
At the end of the journey, the main thing is you, original.
Holy fuck.
Were you just checking out her ass?
No, I wasn't.
You know what? Fuck this.
Wait, babe, calm down. Oh my god. Mary! I am sorry!
Be a part of the entertainment value of a lifetime.
I loved it. It was the best performance I've seen in a lifetime.
I love the show. I liked it very much. He's a very entertaining man. It's well worth the money.
Now appearing in Charlottetown, coming to Halifax November 6th to the 18th, and St. John November 20th through the 26th.
Okay, folks, welcome back. Before I get into the second part here of my video, I want to just make a sort of an announcement for those of you who might be interested. If you have Fire TV, the Fire Stick, okay, that you know to watch streaming services, or if you just have a computer that can stream videos, you might want to check out Tubi TV. On the internet, they have it's tubitv.com. And there's a show on there that I think is just made for Tubi TV. And it's called Murder Comes to Town. And it's a bunch of episodes, like 1-hour episodes. Sort of like, what do they call it there? Unsolved Mysteries or something like that. The very first episode of this series takes place in Maine, an actual murder that took place in upstate Maine, at a town called Webster, which is just down the road from where my girlfriend's parents are, and she knows all about it. It happened in 2008 or 2009, and they made a episode out of that for this show, the pilot episode, I guess, and if you don't know the details about what happened there, I mean, for those of you that are interested, it's an interesting program to watch because most people, I think, when they think of Maine, they think of just quiet and, people just keeping to themselves, which for the most part is true. But I think what this show was trying to illustrate, because all the other episodes take place in towns, okay, that even in towns, deadly things can happen. Some really bad things. These crimes don't always happen in cities. They can happen in these little towns that you would think are quiet and all that. And, basically that's why they made this show. So the very first episode, episode 1, is about an incident that happened here in Maine several years ago. And this happened before I met my girlfriend Melissa. I met her in 2010. And it's, like I said, it's interesting, okay, how that, I'm not going to give too much of it away, but if you're interested, just look it up on the internet, or just look for the Tubi TV app on your Fire Stick. It's free. You don't have to pay a fee to watch it. All the stuff on there is free because they have commercials in there, so they don't really need to have people paying for it. So yeah, just look it up, or if you can't find it, go to the search column there, the option, and just type it in. All you got to do is just type in murder, and it's going to come up in the list of choices. Just look for Murder Comes to Town. Okay, so back to the video here before when we started here. As you saw, that it was really the whole incident between Marjorie Taylor Greene and Bowman was started because of what happened with George Santos. They were supposed to vote whether they would keep him in Congress or not, and instead of voting, they decided to kick the vote over to the House Ethics Committee, okay, where it'll just languish for God knows how long before they decide to do anything about it. I feel they did that on purpose because, like I said, that seat he's holding is very important to the Republicans. They don't want to lose these seats. All right, I don't know, I think it's like they got a 4-seat majority over the Democrats, which gives them the majority, you know, like I said, to control Congress. But they can't afford to be losing seats, you know, and they're going to delay and stall. The thing of it is the Republicans really don't like this guy. And, you know, it's just I know I said this in the last video about how important, you know, that is for them to keep the seats, and they'll sacrifice ethics and whatever else, the law, in order to keep these people on their side. Even people like Boebert and Green. I mean, they get on these people's nerves, but they can't afford to lose them, you see. And I think with Kevin McCarthy, I don't think he really has a stand on this. I don't know. I feel like he's just getting his orders from somebody else to do this thing, because, you know, he needed to have Santos on his side in order to get that position as Speaker. And so, you know, I feel like this is really politics at its worst, okay? Where, you know, they're willing to make deals with the devil to continue to gain profits and power and all that stuff. I mean, it's like every trope that you ever heard about politicians in the movies and TV, it's all being played out right now in Washington, D.C., and it's sickening, you know, when you see that, because, you know, we used to, you know, when you hear about the Soviet Union and how people would just disappear over there if they opposed, you know, the president or whoever. You know, we're like 2 steps away from that, maybe 1. You know, we're becoming like that because we have a movement in this country of fascism that's really noticeable now. I mean, we didn't really see it before because I don't think anybody wanted it to be seen. But when you got Trump, when we put Trump in office, it changed everything. You know, like 9/11 changed everything. Well, Trump, you know, and I hate to put that kind of, you know, historical impact on it, but he did have an impact on our government in a bad, negative way, just like Richard Nixon did, okay? Because Richard Nixon is sort of like the what do they call it, the landmark to where everything started to go downhill with the government, okay? People started not trusting the government, you know, because, you know, up until then, people were willing to give the president the benefit of the doubt that he knew what he was doing and we should trust him and stand behind him, which is how things were, you know, for years before Nixon, you know, decades before. People would trust the president to do what he thought was right, you know, like, you know, you know, making Social Security and all those things, you know, the New Deal. All those things a lot of people didn't like, but they bit their tongue and said, well, we'll trust the president to know what he's doing, right? Well, those days are gone because it doesn't matter who the hell the president is. You're always going to have thousands and thousands of Americans all over the place who are just going to say, oh, he's a crook and he's this and he's that. You know, because, you know, for a lot of people, they didn't grow up in a time when you could trust America. America was always in their lifetimes involved in some kind of scandal or whatnot, and infighting, you know, mudslinging, some of the worst campaigns, you know, one's ever seen in our political history. You know, we just really lowered the bar, and it keeps dropping as time goes on. And so Trump, I think, was really the one that just, I mean, we thought Bush Jr. was the one that set the low. No, he didn't even come close to Trump here, okay? No, Trump really he didn't just lower the bar, he just took it away, okay? And I think, if Biden wins another term as president, okay, he will probably be the last president that will have that we could possibly trust. I don't know if the Democrats have anybody else in mind to take his place. I don't see it, who that could be. But right now, as it stands, a lot of the Democrats right now, they're constantly attacked by people, and it seems like it'll be difficult. Okay, it'll be difficult, I guess, after the 2024 election. But did you see what Santos was wearing for a suit? It was all purple. I mean, what the hell is he? Barney? I love you, you love me. I mean, what the hell? It's like, somebody was saying that, if you didn't think that, he was batting for the other side, I mean, that kind of really made it look like he was like the stereotype 1950s kind of a gay person that you would meet. I mean, he talks like it, he looks like it, the way, he's just but it's, gay people today don't go today. It'd be like me wearing a clown outfit. Okay, they wouldn't do that. I mean, they got standards, and stuff, and they wouldn't, wear things like that. It almost seems like Santos is trying very hard to look like that he's gay. I don't know if what to say about that, except that as a politician, I think the last thing you want to do is draw attention to yourself, okay? And boy, does he do that in droves. I mean, because we know he's an out-and-out liar, okay? Nothing he ever said when he was running for his seat in New York was true. Nothing. They keep digging into all the things he said, and they can't come up with a damn thing. That's one of the reasons why they want to get rid of him, because all the people that voted for him feel like they've been betrayed because they voted for somebody that didn't exist. Okay, they voted for somebody he said he was, and he wasn't. So now everybody's turning on him. So, I mean, if he were to run today, he wouldn't win. If he were to run for his seat today, I know he wouldn't. He'd lose. He'd lose in a big way to anybody that was running against him. So, this guy here is like a character in itself. I mean, he just, I really don't know. I mean, he just. Like I said, he shows up at this thing where they're fixing to kick his ass out of Congress or something, and he's wearing a purple suit, and I'm like, what are you trying to? What the hell is this? You might as well have showed up here wearing a costume of an astronaut or something for all the sense it made. I mean, he looks like some kind of an escapee from the Ronald McDonald characters. Rogue Gallery or some damn thing. I don't know. Anyway, I thought you kind of look like Barney, because Barney's was the same shade of purple as that suit he was wearing. But I don't know. It's crazy, and it just goes to show you that even if someone, is a politician and stuff, they don't have to be normal up here, they really don't. They obviously, a person that lies as much as he does obviously has some kind of a problem mentally. I mean, because that's a compulsive liar, not just a person who's picking and choosing what to lie because he figures he can get away with it. No, his lies are like big lies, all of them. I mean, he's created a whole fantasy world around him that he wants everyone to believe that he lives in, and he won't change his story. Even when when a reporter comes up to him and holds up the mirror to him and said, "This is who you are," he don't care. He sticks right with the lie, and that's like there's more to being a politician than standing your ground and going with the lie. Okay, you also got to be man or woman enough to be able to admit when you're fucked up and hope that people will accept your apology for it. But like I said, he doesn't have to, because he knows, he's smart enough to know that Republicans need him. and they don't want anything to happen to him just yet. Okay, if they lose control of Congress, okay, then it won't matter if they keep him or not. Okay, they'll just boot him out, and they'll probably replace him with somebody else. But right now, while they still have the majority, they're going to keep kicking this down the road here until the time is right to boot him out. But I could tell you right now, they wish they could, because he represents everything that they've been going around saying they don't like, okay? And it's a big hypocritical thing for them, to have somebody in their party who's gay, and they're out there trying to take rights away from gays, okay? And him being in the party that's trying to destroy gay people doesn't make any sense to me. So it's like, this guy is phony all the way around. I don't even know if he really knows what he stands for, okay? So I just, it's a big head scratcher is what it is. If I can't figure him out. I just know that he shouldn't be in the seat that he's in. He don't deserve it, okay? He lied to everybody about what he did. Not that it's very uncommon for people to lie in order to win an election, but usually the lie is within reason, okay, where people don't feel like, and want to go check it out, okay? So, they keep their lies, very limited to a thing that most people aren't going to bother to even think about looking into. So I wish they would have done that with Trump, because even though he never was in politics before he ran for president, I think everybody in this country knew what kind of a person he was, okay? And even the people today that support Trump now didn't like him before he was running for president. But when he started running for president, he was the greatest thing in the world, because he talked like a bigot, and he was a misogynist, and he was saying all these nasty things that appealed to that crowd over there, that all these lowbrow idiots, okay? But before that, they didn't give a shit about Trump. When did you ever hear a white supremacist bring the name of Trump up? They didn't know him. And they didn't like him because he was wealthy. Those people, they don't like, they're class envious is what they are. And the upper class they hate, okay? And they just, they don't like people in their party, I guess, that like to flaunt their money around unless they're getting some of it. And, Trump made them feel like they were going to get all kinds of goodies, if he became president. He was going to fix all their ills and everything, and he didn't do anything, okay? That wall he said he finished, he didn't finish that wall down in Texas, There's only like about 50 miles of wall there, and it's not even standing upright. In some parts, it's all rusted and caved in and everything, and it doesn't do a damn thing. But he's going around right now telling everybody that he built that wall, and nobody knows whether it's built or not because they haven't gone down there to look. But the truth is that he didn't get the chance to finish it because they cut the funding for that before it was done. Okay, but they left what they did build standing, but it doesn't do anything. People just can go around it, but it's still there. But why they didn't take it down, I don't know. Maybe they think someday it'll get finished. That all depends on whether Trump gets reelected or not. But it was really a shocker to the Republicans that when Title VIII sunset this week, that there was a drop, almost 50% of people coming across the border into the country, because Title 42 came back. And into play, because I think Title VIII was something Trump had created, and when that expired, and the original Title 42 came back into play, the people down at the border noticed a huge drop in people trying to get into the country, and they didn't like that because now it makes their case about we got to fix the border and all that, not as much of an imperative like it was before. Okay. So They really didn't like that. You know, they want the border to be out of control because that gives them something to run on as campaigns come up. But they have no intention of fixing it. And because Biden put a huge dent in the income of these people, you know, getting into the country, they weren't very happy about that, I can tell you. You know, it's like, hey, you know, the reason why all this stuff's been going on is because Trump, and I'll prove it to you. You know, just like the tax cut he gave the rich cost this country, you know, over almost $2 trillion. You know, it just, you know, and we got to pay that. And, you know, it's just, you know, when you think about the things that Trump tells you, you have to look it up and say, look, did he do this? Did he do that? And your answer is going to be no. Okay, he didn't accomplish anything on the border. He didn't accomplish anything during the pandemic. He didn't accomplish anything, you know, that he said he was going to do. In the 4 years he was president, he was too busy chumming up with Russia and, you know, doing all kinds of scandals and crap there behind the scenes to help himself when the time comes. Because he knew there were lawsuits ready to come after him for things that he did before he was president. Okay, like the tax stuff and the women he attacked or whatever, you know. He knew that was coming, but while he was president, they couldn't do anything. But now, they're coming after him now. So that's why he desperately wants to be president again, is so he can throw that shield up one more time. It's got nothing else to do than that. You know, he's just looking for another way out. So, but like I said, his history is gonna hold him back. We have 4 years, people, of evidence to show that the man can't do his job. What more do you need? Honestly, all you got to do is take a look at his accomplishments. There's zero. There aren't any accomplishments. Look how much Biden has done in just 3 years as president. I mean, he's outpaced Trump's time by a friggin' mile and a half. I mean, he's just way out ahead of him. And you know, you can't say that Trump's the better man. Okay, he ain't gonna keep any promise that he makes you. He's still lying. Okay, he's still going around telling the same lies, even though they've already been shown that he's lying. He's still lying about the lies. You know, he ain't gonna quit. You know. Compulsive liar, you know, just like Santos. I mean, that's these people, they can't help it, you know, they just can't help it. All right, so that's it for today, and I hope everybody has a great rest of the week, an upcoming weekend. So please subscribe, comment, and keep your ears open for COVID-19 updates. There hasn't been a whole lot of talk about that lately because of all the political crap that's been going on in the country here, and you know, the debt ceiling and all. But you can find information online. There's already places they're on there where they are keeping up to date with stuff like that. And you know, just you know, treat each other nice out there, you know, and you know, avoid getting into fights with people over bull crap, you know. And I think a lot of times when people talk politics to each other and it gets into a fight, it's only because A, they feel very passionate about their position on things, and B, they don't know how to talk about politics unless it gets into a fight. So if you have no skill in talking about politics, so it doesn't make you red-faced and ready to kill, don't even bring it up. Okay, don't even bring it up, because if you know the person you're talking to is heavily into that, it's best to just stay away from the topic. So, all right, so I'll talk to you guys later.